I mean, maybe it's just the puzzle that you have to solve in order to tap into the full potential of the mind, because the mind has so many different functions and there's so many different things that it's doing. And then we're also living in this world that's entirely unnatural. It's like entirely of our creation. The world of society and civilization and cities and cars and buses, and we're not living in a world that we're engineered for. We're engineered for the world of the wild. And so for us to exist in this other world, there's this battle between these sort of deep-seated human instincts that are designed to help us survive versus what we know we can do creatively as a modern human in terms of accomplishing great works of literature and creating comedy and creating music and all the different things that humans can do in this modern era, especially when you record things, when you write things down, and then you can spread it to millions of people like your books. Like, it's really an extraordinary ability that didn't exist until fairly recently in human history.
Yeah.
So like we're not really designed for these thoughts and feelings.
No, it's like where you have two separate selves, right? We have the animal self, that's the evolutionary self. We're still cavemen, right?
Yeah.
We still have the same thing, but yet we have this other potential. Let me ask you something, Joe. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? Or let me put it a different way. It's clear to me that you are exploring something, and you're trying to project your mind into another greater realm. What exactly? How do you see this odyssey that you're on right now? What are you aiming for? What are you hoping to achieve 5 years, 10 years from now? Who do you hope to be?
I don't.
I
don't think like that.
You don't?
No, I just do things that I like to do. I'm very simple. No, legitimately, I don't have goals like that. I try to do better at everything that I do. Like, I would like to be better at archery. I would like to be better at playing pool. I'd like to be better at stand-up comedy. I'd like to be better at being a podcast host. I'd like to be better at doing UFC commentary. So every time I do a thing, I assess my performance, I think about it, I write things down, I work hard at it. And I do the same with being a father. I do the same with being a husband. I do the same with being a friend. I do the same with being an employer.
I think you may be overly modest here now, because I know that you're, just from the people that you bring on the show, you're exposing yourself to all kinds of different points of view, right?
And I'm also exposing the world to them. That's part of my goal too. When someone's interesting,
like you say, you have a great curiosity. You're not doing that because you're not interested in it.
Right.
You're interested in it.
I'm definitely
right?
interested. Yes.
And you're also exploring kind of inner worlds, your own inner world.
Yes.
With the help of chemicals or whatever it is. So it's more than just getting better at something, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm genuinely not trying. I don't have a goal. I genuinely don't have a goal, is what I mean. My goal is to just get better at all the things I'm doing and to understand life, to just do, which is probably impossible, but I'm trying to understand it better than I do. And I definitely understand it better now than I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, I feel like every year I get better at it. And I think as long as you don't define yourself. Like, some people say, well, I'm, 46 years old. This is about as smart as I'm ever going to get. This is me if I'm, still smoking cigarettes and drinking every night. This is me. Like, I don't buy into that. I feel like you're a living human being. If you're alive, you can get better at everything you do. You get better at being a person. I think there's an art to being a person. And I think that the more things you encounter, the more disciplines you take on, the more you focus on whatever craft it is that you're obsessed with, that you find creatively satisfying, the more you do that, the better you get at all the things you do. That's what I think.
Okay.
So I feel like if I had like this goal, like if I had a goal ever, it was the beginning of my comedy career was like, I want to be a professional. I want to be able to make a living telling jokes because you know, me and my friend Greg Fitzsimmons, we started out at the same time, like a week apart from each other in Boston, and we would sit around and we'd talk. Man, imagine if you could just pay your bills doing stand up, because he was working in catering and I was driving limos, and we would get together like after shows and just hang out, maybe, you know, have some dinner or something, and we'd be just like, oh, someday, man, imagine that. Just being just nothing but a comedian, like that's how you make your living. That'd be so amazing. So that was the only goal we ever had. And then once that, like the idea of a career seems so preposterous. Like, what career? Like, what does that mean? Like, it didn't. So, but then once we started making a living, and then we started doing better, and then things started happening. And Greg went on to win Emmys for writing, and, you know, like, he's got comedy specials. He tours all over the world. Like, it did eventually become a thing where you are a professional, and then you have these sort of goals inside that profession. Like, I'd like to do a new comedy special within the next 12 months. I think my material's ready. So we talk like that, but I don't ever say, like, in 10 years I want to be this and that, and in 15 years I want this. I don't think like that. I just keep going. I keep on trucking. That's what I do.